Hey y'all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today I'm super excited just to be doing a tag video. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've done a tag video, and today is extra special and one I'm very excited about because it is a eyeshadow palette tag. So we get to talk about eyeshadow palettes, which if you're new around here, I like eyeshadow palettes, so this tag is right up my alley, but it's made even sweeter because I'm going to be doing it in collaboration with Angelica Nyqvist here on YouTube. If you are new to Angelica, I am so happy to introduce you to her. She is a super sweet, very colorful, inspired, like she's all about the color over on her channel and I absolutely love it, and she's one of the people who helped introduce me to indie makeup because she did feature a lot of very colorful indie palettes before I really got into them. She's also, if you guys watch my Will I Buy, it's one of the people that inspired me to do a weekly Will I Buy because she does a weekly Will I Buy on Fridays over on her channel, and I always love to tune in and just to hear her thoughts on makeup. And yeah, she's very talented when it comes to makeup. She's got an eye for makeup when it comes to like color combinations, and she just always comes up with such fun content that she spins to her, to fit her own personality, and it's just so much fun to watch her videos. That's the best way I can describe them, is not only are they inspiring and informative with the way she does her makeup and color combinations she put together and her reviews and whatnot, but it's also just very entertaining and fun to watch because she's just a very fun individual that, I don't know, cracks me up sometimes, makes me chuckle, and I feel like her videos, no matter how long they can be, I just feel like I fly through them because it's just so much fun, so easy to binge watch, I guess is how you would describe it. Binge watch her channel and her videos. So I'll leave her channel linked down below. Thank you so much to Angelica for collaborating with me on this video, and if you're coming over from her channel, thank you so much for checking out my channel, checking out my video, and I cannot wait to get started in this video. Today we're going to be doing, as I said, an eyeshadow palette tag, and this one is created by Angelica Lyremar, I believe is how you say her last name. I'll put her picture here, and I'll of course leave her channel linked down below as well as her video. If you want to go do it yourself, you can check out the originator, the creator of this tag, but she created a fun eyeshadow palette tag with 8 questions all about like eyeshadow palettes and like how they relate to you and how they inspire you. So I can't wait to see this tag start going around, but today I wanted to do that tag, but do it with a little bit of a twist. As you guys can see, I don't have anything on my eyes today, which is very rare for me, but it's because I'm going to be doing my makeup on camera as I answer this tag, because I thought it'd be fun if when I give you the answers, instead of just showing you guys the palette, actually like using that palette on my eyes. So I talked to Angelica and I said, what if we took all 8 of these questions, we picked our palettes out, and then we answer the tag as we go along, and we show the palette, and then we have to pick one shadow. It can be any shadow from the palette, but we have to pick one shadow to use on our eyes right then and there, and then we can talk about our answers as we put the shadow on. I haven't pre-planned the look or anything. I don't know what I'm creating. I just know the palettes that I have to work with, and I have to pick one shadow from each of the palettes to put somewhere on my face. So that is the challenge, and I asked Angelica and she was up for it, so hopefully this goes okay and I didn't totally just give her a train wreck of a video idea. It seemed like a good idea in my head, but we're gonna get into it and we'll find out if that was a good idea. So let's go ahead and just zoom up a little bit closer so we can see my eyes and get started answering the eyeshadow palette collection tag. Okay, so I had already primed my eyes before I started the video, so we can just hop right into the first question, which is, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me, what would it be? And this is color story wise. So for this one, I had to pick the P. Louise Worldy palette simply because this humongous palette is the perfect marriage of grungy and bright for me. Like, I feel like it's that one palette where it could, either on the days I feel more grungy and dark greens and whatnot, it can do that, or on the days when I feel brighter, it gives me those colors that I love to have when it comes to brighter tones. So I had to pick the Worldy palette. So that's going to be my first one, and for this is what's going to begin the eye look, and I don't know, I think I'm just going to kind of go probably with my favorites from the palette, just because I feel like that'll be good starting wise, and then I can kind of change it as I go if I need to. Anyway, I'm gonna pick this one because it's one of my favorites in the palette. This baggage shade is just a beautiful green, and I will put that into my crease. I feel like I'm probably going to be picking these eyeshadows kind of in the order that I would do my eye look. So the first couple are going to be for like picking it for my crease, and then we'll see as I go along, and hopefully that's kind of just my plan. So I'm going to stick that baggage shade right into my crease. So yeah, with this question, it was so hard for me to pick because honestly, I right off the bat, I thought of the, like a color story that screams me. I thought of the Shroud Cosmetics It's Freaking Bats palette, and I kind of wanted to pick that, but the reason I decided to go with the Worldy palette is because when we're talking about color story that I feel like is just so me, it just screams me, I do like a bit of color. So with the It's Freaking Bats, it's a very grungy type of palette. Yes, it has color to it, but it's like more subdued grunge color. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just something that I feel like if we're gonna go with a color story that's me, I kind of need a little bit of both. So that's why I feel like the Worldy palette was just perfection when it comes to needing both. I'm gonna blend this out as a very soft kind of inner crease. And since I have 8 shadows, I'm gonna try to be a little reserved because I need to fit 8 different eyeshadows on my eyes, and I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So I think I'm gonna start with that, and I can always go back in later if I want to re-dip into a palette. Okay, I think that's what we're gonna do for now. The next question, oh, my nose itches for some reason. Do I have a hair? Okay, that's what we're gonna do for now. Next question, for question number 2 is if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me packaging wise. So the first one was color story wise, which was the Worldy palette. I definitely wouldn't be picking that for packaging wise because that thing is a ginormous. So packaging, and I have so many beautiful palette packaging in my collection. Like I love so many of them, especially the ones on this bookshelf I tend to really enjoy. But I finally narrowed it down to a palette that has both the grunge and the pops of color that I like in my life. That's just my style. And it's the Menagerie Feral palette because this palette is a beautiful green. It's just so, those earthy tones are gorgeous, but it has pops of colors with those fairies and the flowers. So I feel like this was perfection, and this is still a palette that anytime I come across it, I'm just like, wow, she is beautiful. So this is what we have to work with. What should I do? I'm almost tempted to take this and just blend it a little bit more, but I feel like that green is pretty set there. I don't need much more. I'm gonna go in with, should I do that? I was almost thinking to darken it right in the crease. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take, let's do Fenris. I'm gonna take Fenris and put it in there. If it's not dark enough, just because I know Menagerie is so pigmented, if it's not dark enough to deepen up this inner corner, that way I can kind of do a really cool cut crease and have the depth in there. Anyway, I'll go into Ivy if I need to, but because I know that Menagerie is super pigmented, I just want to start with this one. Maybe that's a bit of a cheat to have a backup plan. Oh no, this looks like it should be dark enough. Yeah, I'm glad I went here because I don't want it too intense, but I do want to see just differentiation there. But yeah, this palette is such a good one. And like I said, when we're talking about a palette packaging that screams me, I feel like this just sums it up so well with that front cover of being so grungy and earthy toned to just luscious green, but then having that just bright, the bright pops of the fairies, especially the yellows and the coral tones. And I think there's even like some, yeah, there's some pink there, but there's some orange too. You guys know I love orange, so I just thought I couldn't get any better than going with the Feral palette. Okay, next question. Let's just keep it moving. We got number 3 is if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents spring. So this is spring to me. I feel like spring is usually like full pastels, but a good spring palette that I always think screams spring, and I loved all the looks. They were very me spring, is the LA Girl Main Stage palette. And I even mentioned this in my palettes for spring. I know it's a little maybe unconventional because it has all these deep tones up here, but over this side, it's just so beautiful and springy. So I had to pick this one. Oh, I feel like I could just go all green with this eye look because all of my looks are just have that green to them, but I think I'm going to veer towards, should I do blue or purple? Oh, what to do? I think I'm gonna go with, which, I wanna go blue. So one of these blues I feel like would be pretty. Let's go with this blue. Just because it's the brighter blue. I have no, there's no rhyme or reason as to why I picked that blue over the other one, but we're gonna go with this because I think it's a very pretty color. This palette was such a fun time. Like I remember doing, you know, all the looks I did with it. It was so much fun. It was one of those palettes where it's like I wasn't quite ready to be done with it when I did let it go and, you know, put it in my collection and review it and move on. So I'm kind of excited that I get to pull it back out, and even though I'm only picking one shadow from the palette, it's still fun to get to use it again. So I think, what should I do? I don't even know. I'm gonna pull it out to about here, but then I'm gonna just spend some time blending these two together. I'm being careful not to bring it up too high in case I get, I don't know, lighter blue later on. Like I said, I didn't pre-plan any of these. Like I know all the palettes, but I didn't really look at them and figure out eyeshadows. I kind of just want to create the look as I go along and as I'm having to pick it, because I think that'll just be fun to see what kind of look I can get. Okay, let's keep it moving. We're doing good so far. I think 3. Look, I'm 3 and I'm like, whew, this is great. It's about to get harder. Let's see. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents happy. This one, there's so many palettes that I think are they make me very happy. They just make me think of happy thoughts or whatnot. But there is one palette that I currently have in my collection that anytime I open it, I'm just happy. And anytime I do a look, it makes me happy. And it is the Miles Cosmetics Lemonade palette. This palette is just so much fun. Like, look at all those yellows. How can you not smile when you open this and use it? It's just such a beautiful color story. As I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, well, what am I going to do with yellow? And I have a blue-green look going on. But we're going to figure that out, so let me think. I kind of actually want to use this shade. It's one of my favorite like inner corner highlights because it's like a blinding white yellow. It's so beautiful, so shifty. So I kind of just want to put that on, but I usually don't do my inner corner this early. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bright yellow, because it's one of my favorite colors. I'm going to put it on my lower lash line. I know I said I was going to try to stick to like the order I do my makeup in, but I don't know, I just don't see, it's so light, I don't see anywhere else I want to put it, and I don't really want to take the brown in my outer corner. I don't know, I just don't want to take that brown, even though I think it'd be fine, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. Executive decision to switch it up. I think that'll be okay. But yeah, this palette is so pretty. I want to use it again. I'm going to compare this to the Glam Shop Yellow Theme palette that I just got. So I'm going to be using it again, and I'm really excited because it's like, I'm just excited to get to use it again, even though it'll just be on one eye comparing it to the Glam Shop, but I want to do that in like a video format. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. All right, so we're gonna do that for now. And like I said, I can always go back and retouch these colors afterwards. But the next question is question number 5. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents the dark grungy in me. And you have to let me know if you can guess any of these. I don't know, I just find that interesting if I'm that easy to read and whatnot. But anyway, the first palette I thought of, I had to go with, because the first palette I think of that screams me in my collection that's dark and grungy me is the Whale Song palette by Menagerie Cosmetics. You guys know how much I love this one. It's just such a beautiful palette, and yeah, I don't know, there's so much about this that I really do love. And this is one of the few palettes from Menagerie. I usually don't like their shimmers because they're just very crumbly, but these two, absolutely love. These are very nice. So what should I do with this? I think I'm gonna go with the dark mattes. I think that'll be a good route to go with. Should I do the blue or the green? I think I'll go with blue. I feel like it's been a little while since I used that dark blue, the breaching. I'm gonna put that on the outer corner. I think that'll be pretty, and that'll tie in with the other blue that I put in the crease. I'm just gonna pop that right in there. Trying to pick this up and knock it off really well, just because this is such a dark color and my base makeup is already done, so trying to be careful here. But yeah, oh, I love this palette so much. It's such a great palette, and it's just one of those staples when I'm talking about like grungy dark tones. This is definitely one of the top ones, and it's just such my vibe, I guess you could say, that I had to pick this. I feel like this is one of those palettes that I think will be really easy for you guys to predict that I pick in my collection. And something I do want to say is with this tag, I feel like there's several palettes that I could have picked. Like, you know, there's so many times that it's like, well, I love both of these, or I love all of these. You know, these 3 palettes could be qualified, but I had to pick one. So if I don't mention another one that you're like, that's super obvious, it was probably like I had both of the palettes in my hand and I had to go with one of them. Okay, so there's where we're at. Let's go and move on to the next question. We got 3 more palettes. Not too bad yet. The next question is gonna mess it up though, because this is number 6. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents the girly in me. Now this is super hard because I feel like I'm not really girly in the sense of like, oh, these colors make me feel very girly. I don't know, like anything I wear tends to make me feel girly because I am a girl. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, this one I really struggle with because I don't really see it that way. However, I will say that when I wear pinks and purples, I do feel like a little bit extra like princessy, I guess is what you could say. I don't know, there's something about those colors, maybe it's just because I've associated them so long with being girly, pinks and whatnot, that in my mind, whenever I do wear pinks or purples on my eyes, I do feel a little bit extra girly. So that's why I went with kind of the pink and purple route, and I actually don't have too many in my collection, not gonna surprise you. But I decided to pick the Give Me Glow Vivid Rose palette because there's just so many beautiful pinks, like especially this little corner. If I did an eye look with that, I would just feel like a little princess, you know? It's just so beautiful. So anyway, I picked this palette also too because it does have purples, and I tend to just not prefer purples, but I don't know, maybe it's because I don't wear them much, that's why it makes me think of like more girly colors. I don't know. So anyway, girly was hard for me to pick, but this is what I ended up going with because I do feel like pinks and purples are those colors that I don't wear often, but do make me feel a little extra girly, like I could put on a tutu and totally pull it off, that sort of thing. It's not exaggeration. Anyway, this is what we're gonna go with, and I don't know how this is gonna go with the look that I have going on here. So let's think about, oh, I got a little bit of fallout. So let's think about this. I think I'm going to take one of these pinks. I think I'm gonna go with this because Give Me Glow is also very pigmented. I think I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna put it right above the blue and blend that out. Still might be a little bit pigmented. I'm gonna take a very fluffy brush because I really don't wanna go too crazy here. I'm gonna pick up Pop of Pink, that shade right there, and I'm gonna go above it. Just to give a little pop of pink, just as the name says. I just feel like this will be the best spot for it. I guess the spot that makes the most sense too. And this will also help kind of mesh with the blue to turn a little purpley, which could look kind of pretty. If there was a very light purple, like a violet, I probably would have picked that. But they're too dark in this palette because I feel like that would have went really good with this blue. But maybe if we blend enough, it'll kind of turn this a little bit of a violet color. This pink will mesh with the blue a little bit. Okay, I knew I was getting a little too confident there when I was saying this is going real good because the girly side of me is not meshing with the rest of my palettes apparently. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more of that, that blue that I put in the crease, which was from the Main Stage palette. And I'm just gonna see if that'll help to mesh. Yeah, that'll help it kind of turn a little bit more of that purpley color. Okay, so it kind of took away the pink, but it turned it purple, so it's still there. It just kind of mixed. Is that cheating? I really don't know, but that's what we're going with. I'm gonna just mix here. I don't like a line to be, but there it is. It's kind of like a purple pink. We're gonna call it good. Okay, so we're gonna keep on moving. Next is question 7. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents fun. This one was also easy because I immediately thought of Poppy Cosmetics Neon Drip because when I opened this, it just looks like a big ball of fun. Like, I don't know how you could look at that and not think it was a ton of fun. So my mind definitely went to this one, and for this one, you know what? I really want to use, I think, this shade all over my lid. I feel like that would be really pretty. I love this shade too, but I feel like this will go really good. Honestly, even something like this would probably look really neat. That's like a pop of pink. Or even orange. Oh my goodness, there's too many options. Let me see this again. I feel like this will make the most sense. It'll blend the best, but also like a pop of pink. You know, I'm gonna surprise you guys. I'm gonna go with a pop of pink because I feel like no one's gonna assume that I would go with pink for my cut crease because I always go with the greens and the blues and the yellows. So we're gonna put that pink, which was, what even was it? Slippery. That shade right there, that like hot pink. Let me cut my crease real quick. I'm just gonna cut it with a sticky type of primer, which in this case, I'm using the Lyremar Cosmetics Pero Primera Primer, this one. Okay, and now I'm gonna go in with that slippery shade and I'm going to pack it all over my lid, I guess so, because we only have one more palette and I'm gonna have to go back into one of these palettes to finish out my lower lash line. I guess I'll just probably bring the blue back around. I feel like I'm so basic with my lower lash line. I just kind of repeat what I did on top. Anyway, yeah, this palette is so much fun. The shimmers in here are more of like a sheer, kind of firmly pressed type of shadow, so it's definitely gonna take me some time to apply it because unless you want like a sheer wash of color, which I don't, but if you want a sheer wash of color, you can probably just like apply it really quick and it'll give you that little overspray of hot pink shimmer and almost like a wet look, but I like it to actually like the color actually show, so that's why I take a little bit more time to actually go and pick it up. It's just a little bit hard to pick up because it is more of, it's not a cream, it's not like a Super Shock, but it's almost like that Super Shock formula that's just incredibly firmly pressed, so it takes some effort and, you know, rubbing in the pan to get it to transfer. That's gonna look fun. Okay, so there is where we're at. We're gonna keep moving, and then afterwards, once I finish the questions, then I can go back and finish out any kind of empty holes or any more blending that I wanna do. Anyway, so last question, question number 8. I thought it'd be a lot harder to fit 8 on my eyes, but apparently I use more than 8 shadows frequently. Anyway, question number 8. If I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents inspiration. Again, this was so hard because there's so many palettes, and I almost picked the Muse Beauty Impressionism palette because I feel like that one I'm always so inspired. However, I decided to go with like kind of like me, more my themed or my style inspiration, and I picked the Shroud and It's Freaking Bats palette with Betty Jean because it's just, every time I open this, it's just such a beautiful color combination that I'm so inspired. And it's only 9 pans, so I'd almost think not to pick this because there's not that many to be inspired by and to do different things with. But when I opened it again this morning to kind of look it over and decide, you know, finally which I wanted to do, I was just like, there's just so many different ways you can go with this. How can I not be inspired when I open this? So I'm picking this, and this is gonna be easy because I just wanna take Spooky as my inner corner highlight because it's absolutely beautiful. No, it's Sam. This shade is just so beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna use it because it's one of my favorite shadows in this pan, or in this palette. I also like, I shouldn't say this is my favorite in the shade or shimmer in the whole palette because I forgot. There's also Handbook, which is this gorgeous lime green. I love that shade. But it's hard to pick favorites when the whole palette I absolutely love. Okay, I went a little overboard. Let's tone it back, Katie. I know you're excited, but come on. All right, let me try and blend this out because I got way over carried there. I forgot how pigmented they are. All right, so there we go. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, that is the that's the finished look. That's the eyeshadow palette tag. So I don't have any more shadows. Oh, my hair fell out. That's why it's falling forward. I don't have any more palettes or shadows to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play some music and you guys can watch me kind of, oh, I got blue up here. That's lovely. You guys can watch me finish out this look really quickly. I'll put on a wing probably off camera and mascara because that's just so boring to watch. But I'm going to finish out this look using the other palettes. I'll show you guys which one I'm using because I do want a couple more shades. I feel like I want to put something else here. I'm thinking maybe the green between these two to marry them together, and I got to finish my lower lash line. So you guys can just watch, hang back and chill. We'll be really quick and brief and then we can wrap up this video. Alright you guys, so this is the finished look. What do you guys think? I really like how it turned out. I'm a little bit messy out here, but like honestly, that's literally me all the time. I feel like I'm just very bad at ending out my looks. They always look a little bit rough, which isn't what I like. One of these days I'll figure it out. But yeah, that is the look using all of the palettes that I selected to answer the questions for the eyeshadow palette tag created by Angelica. As I said, I'll have her tag in her video linked down below. If you want to do it, I highly encourage you to do it. This was so much fun. You don't have to do it like I did where I actually put the eyeshadows on, but you can totally, you know, make a video answering it. Or if you don't have a channel, feel free to answer with your own, you know, answers down below in the comments. I love to hear what your preferences are and which palettes you would pick to suit your own style. But yeah, this is the finished look. This is what we created and I really like it. It's a lot more cohesive and I feel like it just looks like it could have been from one palette. Like that's just the vibe I get. I feel like it's very much all works together in harmony and it is a very pretty color story, which I guess makes sense because I did pick palettes that all suit my own style. So therefore they should all harmonize and come together to create a really cool palette and therefore a really cool color story. And that's definitely what I feel like I got today. So this was super fun. I had a great time doing it. I cannot wait to see what Angelica's eye look turns out to be and to see what palettes she picked to answer the questions. But yeah, I really just wanted to try this spin on an eyeshadow palette tag of actually getting to put them on my eyes because I always love sitting down and getting to apply makeup with you guys and do something fun with my eyes. So I thought I can combine the two into this video today. I love to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think of this. Was it fun or do you prefer me just to do the typical style where I show you guys the palettes that I choose and why I choose them? Totally feel free to let me know your honest thoughts down below in the comments. But yeah, this is the video. This is the finished look. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think of this style. As I already said, make sure you go over and check out Angelica's video and see what palette she picked and what type of eye look she ended up with. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you once again so much for checking out my video and watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, with that said, that'll do it for me for this video. I will see you guys very soon in my next one. Bye guys.